Progress by Andrew Joshua Talon.
Luna versus Dreamlands. Round one. Fight!
In the northern window of the room, Luna could see the faint light of the North Star shining in the night. She trotted up to the sill and stared out at it, retracing the star patterns as she remembered them. He blinked at the distance, twinkling beautifully in formations that were highlighted by countless more distant orbs. Luna arranged them, a river system in the sky coming to life as the water of starlight flowed through them. Luna frowned and wrinkled her nose. The magnetic fields of the earth were extended, stretched just enough, and following the trails of stars in the sky, decayed the aurora, shifting and pulsing in the night like rainbows, appearing in the cracks between the storm clouds. All this lit up the dark flat plateau below, no longer dark and formless, but a perfect contrast for the color above. Luna let out a smile, and let out a little laugh, before she turned to the rest of the chamber. She moved to the western window, which had been set tight with ugly rusty nails and bars. With an extension of her willpower, the bars and nails came out, the wood creaking loudly in protest. Wooden boards fell, and Luna hid between twin shutters, colored pink and blue. She reached forth with her hose this time, and gripped them both and pulled them open. The sunlight shone in. Luna winced for a moment, but her eyes adjusted. She looked out at the land outside the window and grimaced. It was a desert wasteland, stretching as far as her eyes could see. Dunes were piled up high as the wind cyclously moved them. The sun peeked out over the dunes, painting them all blood red. "I like this," she decided, "but it needs more." She tweaked the magnetic fields again, adjusting the fluorescence of the sunlight. The dull red gave way to a multitude of deep, sensuous colors, moving from blood red to a night blue to salty indigo. Luna reached out of the stand next, a wave of her hoof and horns sending the desert into more manageable paths. Out of the dunes, some of which had towered hundreds of feet high, came stone monoliths. Geometry was one of the simplest kinds of mathematics, but in that simplicity came a kind of natural beauty. Great domes towered over the sand that once buried it, its pillars holding up great stone roofs composed of triangles, rectangles, circles, and arches grew out from under them. Obelisks sprouted like grass, reaching up towards the heavens and casting long shadows. In a desert where the mountains were buried under the sands, this city was their voice above the shifting ground, smooth to perfection. The city of dreams stood shining as the sun, as a beacon to travelers. The warm sandstone and smooth marble and rough granite were combined in such a way that despite the great monuments and buildings, it was clear this was a home for ponies. They were not to be cowed by the great structures, but to feel welcome and part of something greater. Luna nodded. That was enough work for the moment on that part. She moved to the southern window, which had been blocked by a cave-in. A flash of her power annihilated the rocks, sending out a boom that was almost deafening in the small room, but Luna endured it. She trotted forward in the sudden darkness and frowned. Here she looked upon a forest, a dark, dangerous forest, overgrown with thorny vines and deadly trap flowers. They were enticing, dark as midnight and smooth as silk, but she all knew all too well that to sniff one of them would lead to bad choices, wrong decisions, so many mistakes. The sun shone through the western door, and Luna started. She had almost had her nose in one of the flowers. She recoiled and took a few deep breaths. "Get out," she said flatly. The flowers withered and died, and the thorns fell away. With another thought, the moon shone brightly through the treetops. Paths once barred or made difficult were now clear. Shadows no longer spoke of menace, and the sounds of the creatures in the forest were not ominous. Luna had to tap her hoof to get the rhythm correct, rewriting the songs of the night, but they came together for just the right mood. She smiled as she looked at the revived forest. The shadows held only by the fear of mystery, and the thrill that came with that. The paths were winding, some more challenging than others, but none more arduous than what you perceived. And a final touch, Luna brought forth fireflies to dance in the dark forest, always moving, mirroring the stars above. No thoughts aside from what you bring in yourself, Luna declared. She turned to the eastern door, and frowned when she saw it was unlocked. Curious, she reached forth and opened it. She was surrounded by water in an instant. I flailed around instinctively as panic took hold of her. Her eyes burned for salt water, and there was no light to be found. No, no, where am I? What happened? Realizing it struck her. She shot up as fast as she could. The water above her vaporized from the force of her passage. A bubble of water vapor appeared around her as she went faster and faster. The bubble burst, and her ears were filled with the roar of the ocean and thunderclap of storms. She was blown this way and that above the perilous sea, and below her saw the form of great waves beneath the water. She stiffened in fear when she saw that they resembled long flaming of stars. Enough! 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 She roared, sending out a blast of power that radiated in a rainbow across the sea and sky alike. Her eyes had closed from the exertion of that power, slowly opened. The seas were placid, and she heard the waves crash upon a distant shore. The sky held clouds, but they moved with a lazy grace and not the anger of a typhoon. The sun peeked out, no longer hidden, but dominant. It warmed the sea and set the clouds in motion, ever supportive. Luna hovered for a long, long time, allowing the scents of the ocean to fill her nostrils. The feel of the wind rippled through her fur and feathers. She smiled and turned around, flying entirely by feeling around her hooves struck sand. She opened her eyes when the scissor hands of her steps became replaced with clops. The city surrounded her. She walked past the great tower in the center, through the gardens which were slowly coming back to life, and down the grand boulevard. She stopped for a moment in front of a familiar statue, and frowned. This stone earth pony sculpture was cracked and weathered, his eyes worn sightless by sand and wind. He looked at the sky, but whether it was out of fear or defiance, Luna could not tell. In between his front hooves was a stone pail, long since empty of water. Shakily, she pressed her snout to the statues, and nuzzled him. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I'm sorry I was gone for so long." She sat back on her haunches and sighed. "You, I had the thought of a mighty statue for you when everything was gone, when every pony was under my hooves. I was such a fool back then." She raised her eyes to the silent statue. I think I think I know why I avoided this place for so long," she confessed. "Every time I came here, and saw you here, I was tempted to bring you to life, and make you as I remembered you, alive and speaking." Luna licked her lips. "Even before I made the final transformation, here I was, ready to do it." She sighed. "I couldn't. I still can't. I think, somehow, I knew it wouldn't be you. It would just be me dragging along a doll until I stitched out of grief and memory." Luna slowly, so slowly, lifted her hoof up and rested on the cold statue's shoulder. "You deserve so much more," she said softly, "than to be some pony security blanket. Even mine." She leaned forward and kissed the statue chastely, before pulling back. She sniffed, and a single tear rolled down her cheek. "Goodbye, my hero," she whispered. "Like you." She looked down at the stone pail, and she couldn't help but whimper. It was full of water now. Reflected in the still water was her moon against the pure black night. She looked up and smiled, tears still rolling off her cheeks. "Like you, Luna, Luna, Luna!" Luna started and stared up at her bed. She looked over at Sundance, who was stroking her mane calmly. "Are you all right?" she asked softly. Luna sniffed again, looked out the window. She smiled at the sight of the setting sun. For a moment she could see the city and sea standing beneath them. "I'm all right," she said softly. "I just had to do some spring cleaning." That night, every pony in Equestria had good dreams. Whether in a dark forest, or a sunlit city, or vast plains beneath a brilliant sky, or Celestia herself, snoozing away, smiled as the friendly moon guided her way through her own dreams. It had taken Luna 1,000 years to remember that night was the domain of dreams. But she decided, in the end, it was worth it. She was her sister, was she not? Slumber watcher till the spears, 620,000 years, have revolved and I return to the spot where I now burn. Other stars anon shall rise to the axis of the skies, stars that soothe and stars that bless with a sweet forgetfulness. Only when my round is o'er shall the past disturb thy door. Polaris by H.P. Lovecraft. What I find interesting about these two chapters is that we're saying that Luna has complete control and mastery over her dreams about a year before the show did it. What gets me is that that was well received here, but there's a certain reviewer, all hell, since he's not really doing anything, I'll say it, CR, apparently had a problem with this. Which makes me have to ask, if it worked well here, what was your problem on the show, other than the fact that he has a extreme hate for season 3? Or maybe he just doesn't read the good fics. Remember, folks, the important lesson is don't stick to the porn. Actually look up suggestions from other people if you want to find out some awesome fics. That's the point of this whole entire show. Thank you. Round 2. Across a wide, endless plain Discord trudged. His mismatched lens provided him with sufficient locomotion to go across the tightly packed sand. His eyes scanned the horizon in all directions. The sky was blue, clouds lazing overhead. The sun shone, never quite though the same clouds, but enough to softly illuminate the desert landscape. This bites, Discord muttered to himself for the umpteenth time. For the 60th time, and 84th time, Discord can't bother to keep track of what order things went in unless he had to. He looked at an arm. It summoned a bit of chaos. Nothing. He lowered his arm. He didn't bother stopping to pound on his face. Over the flat plain he continued, muttering to himself, but never bothering to remember what it was about, or why he should care. The answer always came back, like a particularly annoying boomerang, or a particularly annoying purple unicorn. Can't believe it. Here I am, lost in the desert without even a horse to name, he grumbled. Well, I suppose it could be worse. It could be raining. He looked up. The clouds remained pure, fluffy, and white. Well, wherever this place is, at least it lacks dramatic irony. He lowered his eyes and froze in his tracks. Of course, I could be wrong, he said dryly, as he took in the figure standing before him. She was an alicorn, with sleek, soft blue fur, and short, lighter blue hair. Her green eyes stared at him. Her lips were turned upwards in a soft smile. Hello, Discord, greeted Luna. Hello, Luna. It's so nice of you to drop by, wherever I am now, Discord said dryly. Been a long time, and you seem to have shrunk since the last time I saw you. Oh, I lost some power when I was free of the influence of Nightmare Moon, the alicorn explained. I since regained it, but this form allows me to better associate with others without being quite so intimidating. Aw, isn't that sweet? Little Luna is afraid of imitating others, Discord mocked. Make your slave look so adorable just for her little subjects. Isn't that precious? He lowered his gripped hands and frowned as Luna kept smiling. Well, are you here for something, or are you just going to stand there and mock me? Luna remained silent. Discard's furry brows twitched, but he stayed on the offensive. Because there is so much I can mock you. How about the fact that it wasn't you and your sister who defeated me this time? No, she outsourced the help to her neurotic little apprentice and crazy little friends. She didn't care about you enough to reestablish how everything was 1,000 years ago, but that had to rankle you. He moved to her side and lowered an arm around her shoulders. Bet it rankles you enough to come here, whatever here is, to spring me. So here's the deal. You and me, equal partners in total chaos. We get out of here. Throw Celestia off. We have some revenge time with those 6 brats. The purple one's mine, and so is Fluttershy, and the pink one, but the rest are yours. And we just have a gay old time for the rest of eternity. Discord grinned at her and tried to exert his power over her. What do you say, eh? Luna shrugged nonchalantly. Whatever. Whatever! This is a chance of a lifetime to be on the winning side. I'm not done for it yet. Just get me back to Equestria, and I'm sure my powers will be back at full snuff. Luna's shoulders shook. For a moment, Discord thought he might have had her. She might be cracking, or falling apart, or something. Instead, she was laughing. What's so funny? What are you laughing at? Discord demanded. Luna continued to chuckle, before wiping her eyes. She took a sip of dark, smooth liquid containing in an elegant glass, looked across the table at him. You, my dear Discord, haven't changed a bit. You say that like it's a bad thing. I'm the same lovable ball of chaos I always was. Chaos incarnate. It is my nature. I'm unable to help being so fantastically discombobulated. Discord retorted with a grin, gulping down a glass mug and tossing it back at the bar they were sitting in. It was warm, but shadowy, with indistinct voices drifting through smoke clouds. We've had our differences, but I'm sure we can work them out. I have power, you have power. Not as much, of course, but all the same. I'm afraid you missed my point, Discord, Luna said calmly. Too calmly. She rested her hose on the table and leaned forward a bit. Things aren't what they seem. What do you mean they aren't what they seem? Of course they are how they seem. They need a bit of chaos, the spice of life, to be turned inside out, upside down, and... I mean, where we are, Luna explained. She let the cute hoof prints in the sand. Discord blinked and shook his head. He looked around the picturesque beats. Luna laughed again, gave him an almost pitying look. Poor Discord. Well, finally somewhere where chaos could reign, and you're 4 steps behind. Where are we? Tell me! Discord snarled. Luna shrugged and turned around to sniff a shell. The Lord of Chaos snarled. Don't you turn your back to me. I'll break you, twist you, and turn you into my little toy for all eternity and make you love it! Make you love destroying everything you hold dear. Go ahead, Luna said, staring his shell without paying Discord any mind at all. I won't stop you. Discord lunged forward and smacked Luna across the rump, hard. The blue alicorn, still the same color as before, looked back over her shoulder with a saucy smile. Do you want to try harder? Maybe that'll get the reaction out of me. Where are we? What's all this? What's going on? Discord snarled, stomping his foot. They called back with wooden thumps. Discord looked around with wide eyes. They were standing around an expensive wooded room, overlooking a vibrant forest. Luna was sitting on a couch and sipping a cup of tea. We're still in Equestria, Luna said after taking a sip. You're a statue. Twilight sparkle and a fence turned you back into stone. Well, that's ridiculous, Discord snorted. This isn't what it was like when I was stoned the last time. No, it isn't, Luna agreed. Well, there's a reason for that. Twilight Monster really put you to sleep, rather than just in stasis as my sister and I did. That's nonsense. I can't sleep. I'm a chaos god. What do I need sleep for? Discord snarled. Luna finished her tea, as she looked down over the edge of her cup. Exactly. You don't. They were standing in the middle of a vast desert once more. Discord looked around. Why do you keep moving us around? I've been moving us down, actually. Luna explained calmly. Deeper and deeper into the dreamlands. Given it's my domain, I can take us as far down as I like. And each time I do so, time passes faster than it does in the level above. How much faster? Discord asked. 10 to 20 times faster each level down, Luna said with a shrug. Right now, time is passing thousands of times faster in your dream than it is outside. And you're doing this why? To give yourself enough time to rehabilitate me, Discord said with a mocking grin. I remember you tried to raise it with me before. You were so cute then. Doing this for Big Sister then? I knew you still. You know nothing, Luna said. It wasn't angry. It wasn't cold. It was simply a statement of fact. You know nothing of what I went through in the last 1,000 years, or in the last year for that matter. Sensitive about it, are we? Discord smirked. Getting defensive. You're getting defensive. I get all scared, Luna said calmly. Discord's jaw dropped before he fairly exploded in rage. Scared? Scared? Ha! What do I have to fear for some pitiful second-rate Celestia, huh? Some two-bit soft blue have-been. You move a room around, you move the stars around, and yet nobody loves you. None of them will pay you to do they do, Celestia. None of them care for you. None of them will ever care for you. You're just one big miserable joke to all Equestria, and they all know it. And so do you! Discord found himself panting for breath after his outburst. It was a new experience for him. Luna took his rant without any reaction, just staring at him. You know, Discord, 1,000 years ago I started my war with Celestia with Nightmare Night. Luna said thoughtfully, I gave every pony the worst possible nightmares I could imagine. Countless horrors were visited upon them, to the point a whole generation of ponies would go to stare to go to sleep afterwards. Slowly, she raised her head and locked gazes with Discord. The Lord of Chaos felt another new sensation, a chill running down his convoluted spine. They eventually recovered when they realized they would all wake up again when they went to sleep. Luna said with a soft, flat tone. Her eyes narrowed, and a feeling Discord had only experienced twice before gripped his insides like a ice-cold fist. Say it! Luna whispered. I don't know what you mean, Discord stammered. Say what you can't do, that they can, Luna ordered in the same harsh whisper. I can't wake up, Discord asked in a strained voice. Luna nodded, and a small smile she wore when she first appeared to him back on her face. The chill was getting worse. Flying up his feet, he looked around, and eyes wide in horror as he saw he was transforming into stone once more.
Now, Luna, let's talk about this. Surely I can be redeemed. Is that what all you ponies believe in? Second chances? I'm really regretting this. the guild is eating me alive. You won't believe how sorry I am.
You are the embodiment of chaos. You can't help what you do. It is your nature, your very reason for being. You said so yourself. Luna replied, by definition, you can't be redeemed. Even if you could, you don't deserve it. Her green eyes seemed to glow as everything below his waist became stone. Discord struggled furiously.
It wasn't personal, just my nature. You can't punish a storm cloud for being a storm cloud.
Discord cried as everything below his chest transmuted to rock. And when a storm cloud approaches, it is contained. This is no different.
Don't you realize you're being as bad a monster as I am? Doing this to a thinking being?
Discord shied. That's the difference between us, Discord. I stopped being a monster, and you can't, and you never will, Luna retorted as Discord's arms were frozen in stone. He lifted his head up, as though trying to escape a rising tide by sucking in the last few breaths he could.
I'm begging you, mercy, mercy!
To this, Luna said nothing. She only watched as Discord's head was cased in stone, competing his transformation and silencing his cries. She had lifted her right hoof, and the sands around it began to change. The desert floor became white, purest and plainest white any could imagine. It spread out underneath her. It grew up into walls surrounding them both. A roof floated to existence above, completing the sterile, colorless room. Luna gave Discord a long, hard look, trotted up to his face, looked him right in the terrified eyes. For an endless moment he stood there, vengeful goddess and frozen statue. At last, Luna gave Discord a small, vicious smile. Sweet dreams, she whispered, before she vanished. Discord sat there in the pure white room's center, silent. And that's another thing. I noticed that guy is complaining about it. Was saying, oh, well, Luna probably doesn't have any reason to be so dark and angsty and feeling jealously enraged if she was busy saving people. To that I say, dear reviewer, so what? That wasn't what Luna wanted to be remembered for. That wasn't what she wanted. What she wanted was for ponies to love her night, to love her stars. Protecting ponies in their dreams, that was just a side job, and ponies probably didn't even realize she probably saved them. They most likely said, well, to quote myself, they thanked their mothers or offended little teddy bear for their saviors. So freaking what she got saved, she helped ponies out when she was in her dreams. It's like, you want to be remembered for your riding, your special abilities, but everybody else is loving your brother's riding, but you are trying to show off what else you could do, but you don't care. There's one thing you want to be remembered for. Interestingly enough, I just watched an episode of Quantum Leap that kind of touched upon the same subject. And this is why I love Quantum Leap so much. Luna woke up once again in her room. She stared up at the ceiling for several minutes. The quiet tickling of her alarm, the only sound she could hear. She slowly slid out of bed, and after a quick check on Abacus in his bed, trotted downstairs. In the kitchen stood Sundance, cooking some breakfast. A free hoof was on her stomach, pressing into the slight bulge. The blonde pony's breathing became deeper as she did so, and a tremble went through her spine. Hoyden was nearby, pacing around the table, his eyes always on his mare friend. He winced with every stroke she made of her stomach, and muscles tensed up. Luna took a deep breath and trotted into the kitchen proper. Sundance and Hoyden looked up at her, anxious. Luna gave them both a small, slight smile. "It's okay. He'll never hunt any pony ever again," she said quietly. Her two best friends in all the world stared for a moment, before they moved to either side of Luna and embraced her in hugs. Luna wrapped her forearms around them both too, and all three stayed that way for a good long time. "So, what are you going to call it?" Luna asked quietly. Sundance smiled. We were thinking." "Not Luna," the princess said quickly. "Please. Besides, I didn't save you." Trying to sparkle an offense did. "Alright then," Zoe said sullenly. "We'll call it Twilight Sparkle." "Yeah, us and every other pregnant mare," Sundance huffed. She gave her cold friend and princess a slight smile. "We can always name it Celine." "Assuming it's a filly," Hoya returned. "Hoya's always a good name." "We'll talk about that more later," Sundance said quickly. "For now, we should finish up breakfast. I don't know about you, but I'm starved."
"Same here,"
Hoyden sneered. "Me too," Luna said with a smile. "Me too." Final chapter.
Luna versus Wedlock. Fight!
Sundance, I just realized something," Hoyden said as he paused in his massage of his mare friend's hooves. She cracked open an eye and stared down from the top of the bed. She was exhausted, almost beyond belief, thanks to the day's events. And even after the universal day off for every pony in Equestria after Discord's rampage, she was still more than a little short-tempered. "You stopped rubbing my tired, aching hooves?" Hoyer rolled his eyes indulgently at his mere friend, but he allowed her to get her licks in. It had been a long, long day, what with an evil chaos god running around, blowing stuff up, and his futile attempt to stop him by strapping himself to a rocket. Actually, viewed from the present, it was pretty bucket metal, but it was probably best to fully examine those vents at a later time. He had more important things to worry about, after all.
"Well, aside from that,"
Hoyt said with a chuckle. He gave her a serious look.
"You're pregnant."
Hoyt Sundance stared at him as though he were an idiot. Really? It was a bit hard to blame him, but if she could hold off on the sarcasm for just one... "Yes, I am Hoyt. Welcome to the now. Where have you been?" "Too late." "Oh, well, it was what he lived for, among other things."
"I mean, you're pregnant, but we're not married,"
he said. Sundance blinked a few times, then held her hooves to her cheeks. Oh, you're right. Uh-oh, this could look very bad, given my persistence in the princess." She looked like she was about to rev up into a furious rant, but with a long experience, Hoyt knew exactly how to hold her off at the pass.
"Wait, I just had an idea,"
Hoyt said with a grin. His fair friend stared at him coldly. "I'm not getting married in Las Llamas, Hoyt," she said. Hoyt threw up his hooves, smiling cheerfully.
"I have another idea."
A few moments later, Luna was roused from her early morning slumber by the sound of a hoof hitting the door to her room. She sleepily sat up and rolled off the bed, shook out her hair in wings. She trotted slowly to the front door, letting her hoof in front of her mouth as she yawned. She opened the door with a brief application of her magic and stared out at the two ponies waiting for her outside. "Oh, yes, son nuts. Hoyden, what is it?" She asked in concern. Once he could bit, she stretched her wings. She slipped on him a bit funny, so getting the blood flowing again took some time. Is something wrong? Something, yes, Sundance said. You see,
Would you marry me?
Hoya blurted out. Lila's eyes widened. The blood that had been tasked with circulating around her wings went to her chest and said,
What?
The Millennium Old Goddess indulgently asked. What? Sundance growled. Hoya calmly shook his head.
Wait, no, I mean marry us, as in us.
Hoya said, gesturing quickly to himself and Sundance. The blonde mare's anger faded. As he smiled at the moon, nodded at the moon goddess, with a blush on her own cheeks. Luna herself blinked, tilted her head quizzically. It was very adorable, especially with her mussed mane. Both of you, she asked, so confused by the request. Sundance tapped her hooves on the wooden floor, underneath her a bit nervously. Yes, please, Sundance said with a warm smile. Luna looked thoughtful for a long moment, humming. She even summoned Abacus to do some calculations, as Sundance and Hoyan stood there awkwardly. The Moon Princess gave her loyal mathematics tool a smile, and held him aloft nearby. She at last nodded, cleared her throat, spread her wings. Her horns shined, and magic filled the room. Her aura flared into a beautiful rainbow. Both Sundance and Hoyden gasped at the splendor around them. Let's see, how does it go? She asked aloud. Oh yes, ahem. When Apollo infested me as Princess Luna, goddess of the moon, arbiter of the heavens and queen of the dreamlands, I hereby pronounce you stallion and wife, and myself goddess. So mote it be. The stars shined happily outside the windows, seemed reflected in the eyes of the two lovers. They smiled warmly at each other. Their hose clasped together. Luna's hose rested on hers, and they turned to smile at Luna. The goddess smiled back, a bit sleepily. You may kiss everybody, she said. She leaned forward and kissed Sundance on the lips. The kiss surprised Hoyt in turn. She turned and trotted back to bed, door shutting tightly in front of them. Both Earth ponies blinked rapidly in confusion. They both slowly turned their heads to look at one another.
I don't think that's how it's supposed to end.
Goddess? What part does goddess play in a marriage?
I know you're not upset about that kiss,
Hoyt said with a grin.
and hey, this'll definitely make for an interesting honeymoon.
That was the worst pun ever, Sundance said at last.
Yeah, but you loved it all the same,
Hoyt teased.
Is her for being part of it? Well, she could be just between us when we...
He got clobbered for sharing that, but her deep blush as he punched him was all worth it. The end. Interestingly enough, this is actually kind of an abridged version from the fanfiction.net side of things. On there, there's a lot more chapters in the board arc and a few missing jokes here and there. But hey, I read this way back before fanfiction was as big or anywhere as good as it was now. To the point where it's become my primary fanfiction site due to the fact that this site actually knows how to give me the fanfics I want to read. Take note fanfiction.net. Giving out suggested fics actually means that I actually know what to read and what type of good stories I can find. Sorry, I'm still a little testy about that. Moving on to the review. The story, well, not as in-depth or adventurous or as rage-inducing as the last few fics that we've done so far. The rage-inducing one, of course, being the One Piece fic. This whole entire story is just fun. It was enjoyable and left right. The OCs weren't intrusive, and they added to the plot. And if you wanted to see more, there's a fanfiction.net site, as I said, that really shows these characters off, but they were still fun in their own right. The focus on Luna was appropriate, and the plot moved at a fun, gentle pace, near all the main six acted in character. What the story is a time capsule. Remember back in 2011, all you people who are now joining us, And then I say, "Hi, welcome to the fandom. It's pretty awesome here." For those of you who are just now joining us, you need to remember, back in 2010, 2011, we all assumed Luna not to be the Luna that we know. You know, Princess of the Night! Huzzah! How many points do I receive? We thought of her as being Luna, the small, fragile, little innocent filly who needed protection from the big bad sources because she was frightened and scared and weak and whimpering and all this. And wanting to play and was cute. That type of thing. But this fic was original at the time because it actually had Luna being the Luna we know now. I find it interesting reading this type of story now because the Luna that is presented here felt very much in line and in tone with the Luna we know. To the point where I really probably could have seen her popping up in one of the comic stories and I wouldn't know the difference. Heck, if there was a story called Luna versus Pet K-Care, I would guarantee that Tiberius would show up and Luna could have him play with Abacus. Speaking of which, that's in my headcanon. But I digress. There's also the feeling that this story shows off more about Luna. Gives her a more in-depth character than just having her being the protective little Luna that we need to help and keep an eye on. But instead shows her more what we assume Luna should be. Having problems adjusting, learning more about friendship, and moving on. And I know I went on a tirade about the Dreamlands, but it's still true. I've seen some people actually complain about the dream world, and then I think, well, this fic did the same, and I don't know if you complained about that. And I've already pointed out the problems with complaining, and this story shows just what Luna could do in the dream world. I love how each part of the story just seemed to just make it a fun slice of life. In comments, I usually leave the reviews, but I didn't really have much to say. And that is okay. You don't always need the grand, sweeping epic to make the story perfect. Sometimes, something a little more down to earth and down home is just all you need to make an excellent, well done story. That was one down, thousands more to go. Join us next time when I read a story featuring a guy very close to my heart. Trixie, if you please. There are few magicians that the great and powerful Trixie considers better than herself. Penn and Teller, with their comedy and their high-typed antics and the ability to show off what they know. David Copperfield, with his bombastic illusions and grand glorious gestures. But there is one powerful magician that Trixie holds above all others, that she considers to be the best. Harry Houdini. He may not have been the founder of the magic trick, but he was one of the greatest. Unstoppable, powerful, demonstrating all that he knew. If Trixie would have one wish in her life, it would be to one day sit down and meet this magician of legend. Well, Trixie, your wish is granted. Next time, Harry Houdini, the great and powerful. I'll see you next time.